Hi, Anti-Society. Welcome back to the Antisocial Planet. And today we are checking out Twice's Brand New Girl. Again, working through discography stuff. And I'm so excited for this. I bet it'll be cute. I bet it'll be fun. I bet it'll be colorful because we have a music video, which is fun for both of these songs. Right? We had Candy Pop, which I do want to say Candy Boy every time. And then this one as well. So that's really fun. And excited to see what's happening in this one because we had all of the animation and magical girl anime vibes in the Candy Pop music video. So I'm excited to see what this one has for me. But we're of course going to be checking out the song first and then getting to the music video. We're starting with Sui vocals. I'm already going to put this in the win column.
Baby, baby,
What sweet little darlings.
wanna be a brand new girl. Baby, wanna be a brand new girl.
They always have such fun synths on these songs.
In the morning, 新しい始まりの鐘が鳴り、ちょっぴり寂しい気持ち隠していつものスマイリング、スマホにあるセルフィー、一番大切な
Ooh, fun melody. Ooh, sorry. I know that we're doing a bunch of stuff. We're going through a bunch of things. But interesting, the like layered vocals, not just with some of the harmonies there, but we also had a whisper. I'm assuming Dahyun was doing like this like whisper vocal like in the back of some of this. And always like the most wild synths going on. Yeah, who's whispering at the back? I love that ascending melody there. Ooh, okay, no, I know I'm interrupting for this drop, but I was just thinking, what's the one song where they talk about putting on like sneaker, is it Fast Forward, that has like a similar vibe where they're like changing like sneakers for like high heels, and here they're like talking about like makeup, this idea of putting on kind of a like new persona or whatever. They've definitely had that in some of their Korean songs. My brain's like malfunctioning on which ones it was, but it was early on songs. I'd have to go back through it and jog my memory, but that was just like the connection I'm making, like, oh, around like a similar time to when this came out, we were having songs that were also talking about that like transition of growing up a little bit. And I know that this is getting into a little bit further along in their career, and they're starting to introduce some of those other elements into their music as well. Just something like Likey, even though it is like a really poppy, fun, very like leaning into that K-pop sound with it, there are so many other complexities to that song and like the meaning behind it that I love that they've always had some of those kind of sneaky moments of complexity, in my opinion, in their B-sides throughout their career. But I feel like Likey was a bit of a turning point of them starting to incorporate some of those more like nuances as opposed to just like love songs. So I think it's interesting that going through even like their Japanese ones where I'm starting to see some of those crossovers, and I don't know how much that's going to be incorporated into the lyrics of this song, but so far their Japanese releases have just been like really like fun dancey songs, and it's just interesting to see some of the like other influences from their Korean discography like leaking in to some of the lyrical content for their Japanese ones. The harmonies are really pretty. little things, like the like baby in the back is so cute of this like call and response. But I also like what I'm at least getting from the lyrics is this idea of, like I was saying, that this is fitting into that moment in their discography, both in their Korean releases and with this, where you can feel this transition a bit of their sound. And I know that obviously listening to some of their more recent stuff, there's a much more starker contrast of like them maturing their sound and their lyrical content and the kind of music that they want to have. But I like that I can feel some of that shift happening as they continue with their releases and shift away from what was like the debut and first couple of albums of their music, right? I feel like Twistagram maybe is like the point where I was like, oh, okay, we're shifting. There's like a different leveling up of what they're bringing to the table. And some of that just comes with like experience, right? They've been doing like actually being Twice and performers for a while at that point, like enough time that you can start to see some of that coming into it. But I like that some of that's coming into this. I also like that like with this production wise, it feels very much like their debut for Japan, of just like a ton of synths and stuff going on in the production side, and then them leaning into some other stuff in the like a vocal performance, having a very bright sound. I love all this like call and response back and forth, and I love that it feels like a love letter to yourself of being okay with growing up. It feels a little bit like that, like a coming of age of saying, hey, I enjoyed all of the memories and I'm not ashamed of the person that I used to be, like them talking to like their younger self. That's totally fine. It's time for me to like transition into a brand new girl, of becoming someone who is like maturing out of who that is, like breaking some of the like habits or like restraints that come along with people knowing you throughout your youth and needing to step outside of some of that like comfort zone of who you've always been or how you've presented yourself in order to grow up and kind of transition into maturing and like getting closer to adulthood. I'm like, I don't remember exactly if I did like the math on like how long ago this song came out of how old everyone was, but definitely again getting to a point where they aren't going to be making the same kind of music that they were before, with just again experience. And there's a bit of a wide range in age in this group that I'm sure it was trying to like balance between those 2 points of the oldest to youngest of what the sound should be and how to like properly make that transition. So it's just interesting to see that coming through in their Japanese music. But I love all the melodies that we're getting of the like harmonies coming in too. They're really pretty. The distorted vocal. I love that of like, hey, what will be will be. I also love this just go for it, and again like all of this encouraging of yourself. And I feel like also going into the second verse feeling a little bit of this, I don't know if we're leaning into some of the love song stuff that they usually have in their earlier music, of this idea of, hey, after a breakup or a failed romantic thing or a love story that didn't turn out right, of being like, hey, I'm gonna be like a brand new person. I'm gonna take this as an opportunity to like reinvent myself and move on and be like a brand new person, or give myself the freedom to like reinvent myself as I'm putting the pieces back together. I might as well try something new. I might as well get out of my comfort zone a little bit. But I just love all of this kind of like self-talk of encouragement to be like, hey, just go for it and try something new and don't be afraid to try something, and what will be, right? It's okay to just step outside of that comfort zone a little bit and let yourself explore and see how you want to present yourself, right? Their vocal delivery is so cute. See, my future self has no more rules. lined up and then their cheers, they're so cute. But also, again, doing what they've done with the other Japanese releases of changing up the lyrics, which I love, because like I said before, even though it feels like there is like an intentional like simplicity and kind of having this like fun pop sound in their music, and this one feels like we're leaning into a little bit more of those complexities that, again, their music is slowly transitioning into, but having this switch up in the lyrics, adding in that interest. And I love that, hey, the future me has no rules. Like there's a future in which I don't have to restrain myself. And I was thinking about this actually earlier today, of the number of things where I like say to myself, oh, I'm allowed to do something. And I'm like, it's like arbitrary rules for myself, because I feel like it's kind of ingrained into us, right, as we're growing up, that there are things that we should and shouldn't do. And then becoming an adult is like realizing that those restraints that you've just like accepted as a thing are actually like arbitrary. And now that you're not living like whoever your guardian was, that you don't actually have to listen to them the same way, or just like now that you're not a child, you don't have to adhere to those same things. And again, it feels like this coming of age of, hey, I don't actually have to confine myself to the same rules that applied to me 5 years ago, because that's like a huge age gap when you're a kid, right? 5 years is a long time. There's so much change that happens to you in that time that even me thinking about it, I was like young 5 years ago. I'm very different from who I was. So trying to apply those restraints to who you are now doesn't make any sense. So I love that. And our hearts are always connected, like this idea of always having a connection to that. The person that you used to be is always part of you, right? It's part of the foundation of who you become, and you're not completely abandoning that past version of yourself as you go forward. But it's also okay to have that growth, right? Growing is wonderful and exciting, and you have to give yourself space for that. So I think it's so cute, and I love having that feeling, if I'm getting it right. And again, we could go into like love story stuff as well, but I think that the interpretation of coming of age is way more interesting. Oh, that makes me think like, ooh. I love that too. Both hands are full of dreams. It's cute. The calm response so cute. The like keys and then the like clap or whatever, that was so cute. And also love the message of it. I love the idea of encouraging someone to step in to who they want to be, and like whether or not that's like post failed romantic attempt, or if that is coming of age, right? Saying, hey, at a certain point you have to let yourself be okay with the change, and it's okay to just step in to that role of, hey, like the best future, right? They're talking about like stepping into the world and having all of these dreams, and it's okay to accept that you're getting to an age where like you get to have a little bit more like autonomy and make decisions and explore in terms of who you are and what you want and how you present yourself to the world. And sometimes that's scary to realize the freedom of that, and sometimes it's exhilarating, and sometimes it's intimidating, and sometimes you worry that it won't go correctly, right? Like you start to think about, if you are in charge of how you present yourself to the world, what the world is going to think of you. And I love all of the kind of encouragement and like self-talk and really like bright delivery in their vocals, and that like fun like back and forth, some gorgeous like layering of different voices and having those like harmonies in it as well, having this feeling of cheering to it, and some like little like callbacks to other things that they've done in their discography as well. I love that it feels more integrated, right? Where I feel like the previous Japanese releases that I've checked out, at least like chronologically speaking, are more like standalone things. Like they are separated a bit more from like the overall sound of Twice. Like they definitely fold into the like overall, like sonically they fit in, but this song feels a little bit more interwoven with some of the other stuff that they were releasing around the same time. So I love getting to see that as well. But I'm excited to see what this music video is going to be, because the last one was a bit crazy, but I enjoyed it. I don't know, every time I come to do one of their Japanese songs, it says that there are auto-generated Korean captions on it. What do you mean auto-generated? It's Japanese. It confuses me a lot, but here we are. Anyway, Brand New Girl. We got a calendar again. We had that in the Candy Pop as well. And I was like, I assume that this was an Easter egg for something important. So I'm assuming March 2nd, whatever the year is, was significant to something that was going on at the time. 2018. Cute. I love the opening credits. This feels bougie. Cuties. My gosh, that phone. I'm just like, look, it looks preppy, it looks bougie with this music video. The like older phone has taken me out a little bit. I'm like, oh, wow, okay. You don't need to date me, because I know that definitely that was not 2018 cell phones at the time. But I remember those. Remember like when you had like an actual keyboard, you were like the coolest person. But I also noticed in the one clip where they were all sitting, they had like the white outfits. Why do we have two with the darker coats and the rest don't? Was it just like a styling thing? I don't know. Anyway. Why do we have devil emojis? Oh my gosh, having the keychains too. Cutie pies. Cutie pies. Oh my gosh, the camcorder. Why does Jill have a hair dryer? I know we're in like a, I don't know, locker room, bathroom. We're doing sports again, and I don't sports, okay? I don't know enough about sports. All of the sports I did were solo things. Everyone else is just chilling, and she just has a full like blow dryer in her hand on the bench. Cute. I love the graphics. Why was there a duck? Again. Cutie pies. My gosh, Cabbage Patch. I was distracted by Mina's sass with like the the landline. Oh no. Thank you, Sana. Cutie pies. They're so cute. I was just thinking, look, not to interrupt the cuteness, but I was just thinking of them that do, what sport is it they're playing? Look, something bougie that I definitely did not go to an expensive enough school for, okay? My school barely had any kind of sporting equipment that wasn't like American football, okay? We didn't even have a cheerleading team, okay? Our school was not big enough or well-funded enough for that kind of commitment. I was just thinking about how even in a music video, Momo can't sport. Like they couldn't have given her that one, even in a music video, letting her be able to be athletic this one time. But they're so cute. Look at them. This feels very preppy and very bougie, and I'm like a little bit intimidated. cute. I love the Polaroids too. They gave her a crown, so I guess that might make up for it. Aww. This makes you think of What Is Love. Ah! Like the music video. I was just thinking it makes me think of What Is Love because of the music video. And then they have the Candy Pop music video playing. That's so cute. I'm sorry. Look, no, sorry, not to be distracted right at the end. But I was like looking at the book. I'm like, dang. It was like, it looks like Babysitter's Club, which like it maybe also be dating myself that those are the books that I was reading. I don't know if it's an actual book or if it's like a knockoff of some kind or whatever, but the artwork like shot me back to my adolescence of the books that I was reading. But I was also just thinking when we had the like sleepover, it's fun to have that as something that's very like fun and very much memories of like childhood and having that and mixing it with this like preppy style that feels very much like being in like school, but more of like a high school or middle school, a little bit later in education as opposed to earlier education, and having that contrasting with the fun that they're having with the sleepover. It goes with this whole like maturing and like growing up vibe that I was getting from the lyrics of not only it's okay for you to grow up and mature and figure out who you are, but also like you don't have to leave everything of who you were as a kid behind, right? You don't have to completely abandon who you were previously in order to mature and become an adult or like a young adult and a young adolescent, right? Like you don't have to completely give up on having fun and having sleepovers and spending time with your friends, and the bright colors and like stark contrast to the like white like school uniforms, this like tennis skirt outfit, right, that they have on for a bunch of this. Like you don't have to have one or the other. You just take what you enjoy from who you were as a kid and you like modify that for who you are as an adult. So I like having that there as well. And the start as an end point in the music video is also cute in like the next scene. Like it's a start, not an ending. Cute. I love the like credits vibe. Almost like scrapbook or like yearbook feeling as well. Cute. That was so cute. I loved that. I love that it was just like them like having fun, being cute. I loved every time that they like mouthed along to all of the little like call and response like ad lib things as well. That was really cute. Like their facial expressions when they were doing it. I'm just sitting here smiling like a fool because they're just so adorable. That's really what I'm here for. Okay, when I go back to like early days twice, I'm like, I just want to smile and see them be adorable and have a good time. Okay, and I love all the bright colors, especially in like contrast, but again, like these white outfits earlier on, having that kind of contrast with some of these pops of color that were coming through, all the like nostalgia in this. Maybe just for me, they're all older than me except for Tsui. Nostalgia for them too, of the like old cell phones and the landlines and the old like TV that they were watching, and this like mixing of like nostalgia and like more modern things. Again, of this, hey, you get to bring parts of who you were growing up forward, right? You don't completely forget who you were. You don't have to completely abandon who that past version of you is. You get to bring that with you and also like change and expand and become a different person and learn things. So I love having all these kind of like things coming together in this music video. They're just so cute. I just love seeing them smile. I loved every second of that. Of course I did. Of course I did. It's a Twice song and I get to see them be cute and laughing and having fun. And I just love that their humor comes out in this too. Like again, that them mouthing along with those like improv call and response moments and the faces that they were making. And I love that they just let themselves have some of that goofy vibe to these songs because it's it's a fun video. It's a fun song. It's about being yourself and not worrying about trying to fit into a specific image or trying to be what you've always been, right? This is just like them getting to have a little bit of those like candid fun moments, even them kind of like playing around with each other. Nayeon being in like trolley for the towels and stuff. I'm not picking the right word. I don't know why my brain can't think of terminology in this video, but it's fine. But you know, them like throwing the towels on her, and like Momo like not being good at sports, which I've seen enough time to twice to know that's a thing, and her being like what looks like candidly embarrassed by missing that shot. So I love having those moments of genuine, them just like having fun and being goofy with each other mixed in with everything. So sweet. And I love to see it. And I love, again, seeing something a little more in line with some of the stuff that they've done in like their Korean discography crossing over with their Japanese releases and still having that like fun, very like upbeat, bright sound. But again, having some of that more like integration of the kinds of topics that they were exploring lyrically in their songs at the time. But I hope you enjoyed listening to that along with me. You can click those playlists to go into my previous reactions, or you can subscribe to me the next time I post a twice reaction. I will see you in the next video. Bye.